everybody. Today, because Thanksgiving is coming up, you know, it's right around the corner, I thought I'd show you a recipe that's my husband's favorite. And it's also one of my most popular and most viewed recipes over on my blog. Now, I altered the recipe from my blog just a tiny bit for this presentation. However, if there's something you don't like, if there's something that doesn't work for you, you can change it out. Now, I will say I've come across, since I've wrote that recipe, which was almost a year ago, a lot of people having a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Very passionate ideas about this recipe. And I will tell you, it came to me completely by accident. I wanted to make twice baked potatoes one night for my family, and I screwed them up bad. And that happens, you know. If this happens to you at home, trust me, you're not alone. There's some of us that cook on a regular basis. There's some of us that have degrees in cooking, and we still make mistakes in the kitchen. So you're not alone. I goofed them up really bad, and it's like, oh, what am I going to do? I was so frustrated. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do this. It's a twice baked potato casserole, okay? And I'm going to show you what goes in it. I did a lot of prep beforehand because it's a lot of work. I will tell you, this is one of those recipes that you probably want to save just for Thanksgiving dinner, or just for Christmas dinner, or just those special occasions, because there's a lot of work involved. I baked 2 very large potatoes and 3 smaller ones. I had to think about that for a minute. Now, you can leave the skins on. That's perfectly fine. That's what I usually do because it adds a lot of texture to the casserole. But because my husband has a hard time chewing still, I peeled most of the tough stuff off. I left the stuff that's softer because he can work around that, but I peeled the rest off, and that's time consuming within itself. And then I'm just going to throw this together because this is what we're having tonight for dinner with a roast chicken. I haven't made this in about a year, so I'm just going to get started. Now, you want your potatoes to be warm enough that you can touch, but there's still some heat to them. And we're just going to mash them like you would mashed potatoes. Now, you can cut them up, which would make them easier to mash. Some people would probably go ahead and use a pastry blender, and that's perfectly fine. We like big chunks of potato, but if you like smaller chunks, go ahead and zip them through your food processor or even a blender. Whatever you have, just use it. Okay, so when I wrote the recipe, I did not have any green onions. And yes, I've been told 1,000 times green onions is perfect for this. It is, but if you don't have them, you can still make this recipe. So, have you ever heard of a baked potato with no sour cream? I have about 1 cup here, so that's about 8 ounces. And again, if you don't want to measure, just at the store buy a 16-ounce container and just use half of it for this recipe. So, there's that. I'm going to keep my little bowl scraper there. We're going to add an egg. I'm going to mix this up. Now, you can leave this out. You can put it in. You can use egg substitute if you want to. That's perfectly fine. I'm making this for a family of 4 with a little bit of leftovers. You can adjust this however you see fit, because I look at it this way. It's your kitchen. It's your rules, right? And then we have probably about a cup of butter. Okay? Like I said, this isn't something that you want every time you make a baked potato. And so we're just going to mix this all around. Now, I like to mix it by hand, but, you know, again, you could throw this all in your food processor and let it go, and it would be probably just as good. Okay. And then from here, I normally give this to my husband so he can lick it off like, you know, beaters and stuff. I'm not going to do it this time because There's raw egg in there. Okay, so now we're going to add a handful of cheese. Maybe a couple more handfuls than just one. Okay. Just get that in there. And this is where I add my seasonings. Now this is where it's going to be a little different. On my recipe, if you notice on my blog, I just use garlic powder. This time I'm using garlic and herb season simply because I couldn't find my garlic powder. So I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to kind of throw it in there. And then because we got cheese in here, this is one thing that totally ramps up the flavor of the cheese. I don't know why, but you'll see it in the homemade macaroni recipes and stuff. It's a ground mustard. So we're just going to add that in there for a little zing. And here I have about 6 pieces of bacon. I'm going to take half of it. I'm going to sprinkle it in here. And then grab another spoon. Toby will confirm that whenever I'm cooking, I make the world's biggest messes in this kitchen. We can have it all tidy and everything like that. I will go through every dish, every spoon, everything. Making something. You should see it on Thanksgiving Day. This is why I think I only filmed one time on Thanksgiving Day and I refused to do it again because it was a lot of work. Okay, so now we're just going to take our casserole dish. It's already coated with non-stick cooking spray. We probably don't need it, but it does help as the cheese melts. So we're going to spoon this in our dish here. There's a big hunk of potato there for you, honey.
All right.
Yeah, when I made this, I was like, I don't know if you guys are going to like this. I was so disappointed because I wanted to make twice baked potatoes so bad. And I messed them up. And they like this better. A whole lot better. And I think this is probably going to go right to the top of my casserole dish. Oh my goodness. And I wanted to do this in a glass casserole dish to show you guys all the yumminess that goes on inside the casserole itself. Excuse the noise. That's another thing I cannot do without, and that's making noise while I'm cooking. Okay, now we're going to top it with all kinds of goodies. We're going to top it with more cheese. Okay, and be liberal with this. I mean, this is a once in a while thing on special occasions. If you're having some kind of get together, some kind of potluck thing, this would be a perfect idea to take, and people would eat it up. You know, dinner party, Christmas party, Thanksgiving party. I mean, there's parties for every day of the week these days. So, okay. Then, what do I want to do? I'll top it with bacon. And I just chop this up roughly. If you want the chunks to be smaller, like bacon bits, you can go ahead and do that, but we like bacon. And here I have about 3 green onions that I'm just going to sprinkle over the top. You could wait for this to come out. That's perfectly fine. Again, your kitchen, your rules. When you make this, if you make it for your family, you can make it however you want to. So, if you want to make it vegetarian, if you want to make it super duper healthy, have at it. Be my guest. Okay, so we have the oven ready to go at 375 degrees. We're going to throw this in here. It's going to take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. But when it comes back, I'll let you know exactly how long I had it in there. So we'll be back when it's done. Hi everybody, we're back. So at 375 degrees, this took about a half an hour in the oven. And I'm going to give Toby a little taste test. We're going to have this for dinner tonight. So what I'm going to do is just kind of let this chill out in the refrigerator until supper. The last few minutes of the chicken, pop this in, reheat it up, and it'll be awesome. So I'm going to give him a little taste test. And this is what it looks like, all piping hot. You want to give it a few minutes to to cool when it comes out, because it will be all bubbly and stuff like that. It only takes a couple of minutes. So I think I'm all done here. And this is my twice baked potato casserole. So I will talk to you guys later. Here's Toby.
Alright, it's been a long time since I got to taste test anything, since I got my new store-bought tea. See that? Ain't that pretty? Look at here. This is one of my favorite things in the world. I mean, Heather knocks out everything that she cooks. There's just some things.
That's your favorite?
Oh, that knock me out, and this is one of them. And I'm going to blow on this just a bit, because I know it's hot. Hot, but really good. We'll see you all next time. Adios.